Welcome back to page 4 of your Unit 9 Sequences and Series Review. This video will cover number 23 to 28. On number 23, please read your directions. It says, given two geometric sequence, find the common ratio, the explicit formula, and the recursive formula. The common ratio is your R. Some people write it capital letter, it's okay. Your explicit formula is x of n equals x of 1 times r n minus 1. And your recursive formula is x of n equals r times your x n minus 1. Okay? On number 23, you are given a of 5 and a of 2. So you need to find the common ratio. Now, since you don't know the first term, but you know the fifth and the second term, here, make that your first one, and make that your third one. And how did I get 3? 5 minus 2. All right. So, the two things that you need your R, and you need your first term. Okay? Let's go and find the R first. So, I'm going to make this my first term, and this is my third. So, I'm going to say negative 1 over 128. Is equal to your first term, negative 1/2, times your R. What term did I make that into? To 3. Now solve for R. Okay. Well, what's opposite of negative times 1/2 times something? Well, it's divide, so I'm going to divide by negative 1/2. All right. Now, when you divide, you can actually take the reciprocal, or you can just use your calculator to do your work for you. I'm just going to use my calculator. So I'm going to type in parentheses, negative 1 divided by 128, okay, parentheses, divided by negative 1 divided by 2, hit math, and that comes out to be 1 over 64. So 1 over 64 is equal r to the third. You take a cube root, so r is equal to math, here's your cube root, number 4. Second answer, by the way, if you don't know that, answer is right down here below the 3. That's the previous answer, and that comes out to be 1/4. So your R is 1/4. Now, you can also find your first term from there. Now, I'm going to go back and use any one of these to find my first term. So my R is 1/4. Okay? So I'm going to use the second term. So I'm going to say, here, well, if that's a second, I can find my first term easy. But what if that wasn't your second? You can do it this way where it works every single time. So you're going to have negative 1/2 equals your first term, which you don't know what it is, times your 1/4 raised to the 2, because that's your 2. How do you solve for that? Well, 1/4 squared is the same as 1/16 x to the first times 1 over 16. What is opposite of multiplying? Dividing 1/16. So your first term comes out to be, parentheses, 1 divided by 2. I'm just going to put negative 0.5 divided by, parentheses, 1 divided by 16. That comes out to be negative 8. So your first term is negative 8. Now you have all that, you can write your explicit formula. So, there's your ratio. Explicit formula is x of n equals your first term, negative 8, times your r, 1/4 n minus 1. Your recursive formula comes out to be x of n equals your rate, which is 1/4, okay, times x n minus 1, where your first term is negative 8. Don't forget to always add that first term. All right, number 24. Okay. To find your ratio, this one's already in a series, so it makes it easier. You just go negative 32 over negative 16, which is 2. So there's your R. Let's go ahead and find our first term. I'm going to use this one. Negative 16 equals, I don't know my first one, times your R. That's 4 minus 1. So negative 16 equals a to the first, 2 to the third power. Negative 16 is a to the first times 8. So your first term is negative 2. Divide by 8. Now that you have all that, you can write your explicit formula. Okay? So x of n is equal to your first term, which is negative 2, times your r, which is 2, n minus 1. Your recursive formula. X of n is equal to your rate, which is 2, times your x, n minus 1, and your first term is negative 2. Number 25, okay? Look, you see how it's 5 and 6? It's already in order, so that's easy to find your rate. 243 divided by 81 comes out to be 3, so there's your r. Let's go find our first term. I'm going to use 81. A of 1 times your 3, 5 minus 1. Okay? So let's do our math. 3 raised to the 4th power. So 81 is equal to A of 1 times your 81. Divide. First term is a 1. Now I can write my explicit formula. So your explicit formula is going to look like x of n equals your first term, which is 1, times your r, which is 3, n minus 1. Your recursive is going to be x of n equals your r, which is 3, times x, n minus 1, and your first term being a 1. And there's number 25. 26, we got a fraction. Do not be scared. All right? So, actually, I'm going to use the reciprocal this time. So I'm going to take a of 6 divided by a of 5th, and there's my r. So a of 6 is 2 over 27. Opposite of dividing is multiplying, and you take the reciprocal. Okay? So you can do it like that, or you can just actually type the whole thing. Parentheses, 9 divided by 2 comes out to be 1/3. So there's your r. Let's go find our first term. I'm going to use this one. 2 over 9 equals your first term. Don't know what that is. Times your 1/3. 5 minus 1. Okay? So 2 over 9 is equal to a of 1. I'm going to go ahead and do that in my calculator. 1 divided by 3 raised to the 4th. Math, frac. That comes out to be 1 over 181. Opposite of multiplying is dividing. So 2 over 9 times 81 over 1 is equal to 81st. Now, let's go old school. Cancel, and that gives you 9. So your first term comes out to be 18. Or you can type it onto your calculator. Okay? Alrighty, now that you know that, you can find your explicit formula. What's your explicit? X of n equals your first term, which is 18, times your rate, n minus 1. Your recursive comes out to be x of n is equal to your rate times your x, n minus 1, where your first term is 18. And there you have 26. 27. It says evaluate each in a series. Now notice it's a series. Make sure you know if it's arithmetic or geometric. Let's take a look. What are you noticing? I'm increasing by 2, so that makes this one an arithmetic series. Okay? So I'm going to use my formula. S of n is equal to. Alright? So if you don't remember the formula, here's your formula. N, a of 1 plus a of n divided by 2. There's your series. Alright, so S of n is equal to n. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So n is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First term is 7. Last term, 15. Divide that by 2. From there, that's just calculator work. Okay? So 7 plus 15 divided by 2 times 5. Comes out to be 55. When you add all 5 terms together, you get 55. 28. What are you noticing? I am increasing by 2. And if you don't know, you would go 1 minus negative 1 equals 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. So there's your D. That's your D. Okay? So the D on this one was 5. All right. Now that you know that, I'm going to use my formula. S of n, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First term is -1, last term is 7, divide that by 2. So S of n is equal to -1 plus 7 divided by 2 times 5. Comes out to be 15. And there you have it.